You are lying in bed. It is 4 in the morning. Your eyes just snapped open. Your body is exhausted. But the second you looked at the ceiling, something inside you started running. Not tired, not calm, wired. Your heart is a little louder than it should be. Your thoughts have already picked a topic and started sprinting. You have probably told yourself a story about this, that you are just stressed, that you are broken, that there is something wrong with your sleep. And that story almost fits, but it does not quite explain why it keeps happening at the same time every night, around 4 in the morning, almost on schedule, almost on cue. Because 4 in the morning is not a random time. Your body is running a specific chemical program at that hour every single night. And when that program glitches, this is exactly what it feels like. So today, let's walk through what your body is actually doing at 4 in the morning. The real biology behind the wired tired awakening, and more importantly, what actually helps. Let's start with what most people assume is happening in this moment. The default story is, I am anxious, or I am stressed, or I ate too late, or I am just a bad sleeper. And any one of those might be a small piece of it. But none of them explains the pattern, because if it were purely stress, it would be random. If it were purely diet, it would be inconsistent. If it were purely a sleep problem, it would have kept you from falling asleep in the first place, not woken you up 4 hours in. The pattern is what gives it away. When something happens at almost the same time, on almost the same schedule, in almost the same way, that is not stress. That is a biological program running. Something in your body is doing the exact same thing every night, and this is the moment it hits a bump. So what is the program? Every night, starting around 3 in the morning, your body begins something we can think of as a shift change. Picture your nervous system running 2 crews. The night crew has been on duty for hours. Deep sleep, tissue repair, memory consolidation, low body temperature, low heart rate, high growth hormone, almost no cortisol. It is a quiet crew. Its whole job is to keep the lights off, and then somewhere between 3 and 4 in the morning, the day crew starts arriving. This is not a mistake. This is not stress. This is your body preparing to be awake in a few hours. And the shift change involves at least 5 things happening at once. Cortisol beginning its climb from its lowest point of the night, growth hormone winding down, body temperature bottoming out and starting to rise, the liver beginning to release stored glucose, and the deeper stages of sleep giving way to lighter, more dream-heavy REM sleep. If the shift change is smooth, you do not notice any of this. The night crew clocks out, the day crew comes in, and you keep sleeping until your natural wake time. But if your system has been running too hot for too long, if your baseline stress has been elevated for weeks or months, the day crew does not walk in quietly. It kicks the door open, and that is the moment you wake up. Let's go one layer deeper, because the physiology here is worth understanding. Your cortisol level follows a curve that is roughly the same shape in almost every human being. It bottoms out around midnight. Then, slowly it starts climbing, first gently, then more sharply, until it peaks about 30 to 45 minutes after you naturally wake up. Researchers call the sharp rise around waking the cortisol awakening response, and it is real and measurable. On average, cortisol rises somewhere between 38 and 75% in the first half hour after your eyes open. That climb does not start when your alarm goes off. It starts before you wake up. Studies going back to the 1980s, including a landmark paper by Bowley and colleagues, showed that in healthy people, cortisol, epinephrine, and norepinephrine all begin rising between 4 and 6:30 in the morning. Growth hormone, which had surged in episodes between 1 and 4:30, drops sharply after that. Your liver, cued by these hormones, starts releasing stored glucose, the fuel your body will use to get out of bed. And underneath all of it, your core body temperature, which has been drifting down all night, hits its lowest point around 4 to 5 in the morning, then starts climbing. Every one of these signals says the same thing. Get ready to wake up. Not now, just soon. Now here is the problem. If your nervous system has been on high alert for weeks, if you have been running through your inbox at bedtime, if your evenings have no wind down, if your body has learned that the world is always slightly on fire, then your cortisol curve does not sit low overnight. It sits elevated. And when the pre-dawn rise begins, it does not start from a calm baseline. It starts from an already tense one. So the small, natural rise that was supposed to be a gentle handoff becomes a jolt, and your body decides mistakenly that the day is starting now. That is the moment you open your eyes at 4 in the morning, not tired, not calm, wired, because the day crew, instead of walking in quietly, just kicked the door open. So, why is this happening so much more now than it used to? Because the pre-dawn shift change is exquisitely sensitive to what your day and evening look like. Late night phone use, emails that never really end, caffeine after 2 in the afternoon, alcohol before bed, which fragments the second half of the night, uncertainty about money, work, relationships, health, living somewhere the sun never really tells your body what time it is. All of these things keep the day crew on high alert. And when the day crew is on high alert around the clock, the shift change stops being a shift change. It becomes an ambush. And a short but important note here: this is education, not medical advice. If waking up like this has been going on for a while, or you are seriously exhausted, please talk to a doctor. There are conditions like sleep apnea, thyroid issues, and clinical anxiety and depression that can look like this, and they deserve real support. So, in the moment and over time, what actually helps? The first thing is what to do right now, in the middle of the night, when you are already awake. And it is deceptively simple. Do not fight to fall back asleep. Do not check the clock. Instead, slow down your exhale. Breathe in, normally through your nose. Breathe out through your nose or mouth, taking about twice as long on the exhale as on the inhale. Do that for a couple of minutes. The reason this works has nothing to do with willpower. A slow, long exhale directly increases activity in the vagus nerve, which tells your heart to slow down and your sympathetic nervous system to stand down. You are literally sending a chemical signal to the day crew that says, not yet. The second thing is a longer-term move, and it does not happen at night. It happens right when you wake up in the morning. Get some sunlight, ideally outside, in the first hour after your natural wake time. Even 10 or 15 minutes on a cloudy day is enough. This works because morning light anchors your circadian clock, which is the same clock that controls the pre-dawn shift change. When morning light lands on your eyes consistently, the timing of your cortisol curve stabilizes. Your body stops running the shift change too early. The third thing is the hardest one, but probably the most powerful. Keep your wake time the same every day, even on weekends, even after a bad night. A consistent wake time is the single strongest signal you can give your nervous system that the shift change happens at one specific hour, and that it does not need to preempt your sleep to catch up. It takes a few weeks to feel the effect. But of all the things you can do, this is the one that tends to move the needle. Here's what I want you to remember when this happens again, because it probably will. Your body is not broken. Your nervous system is not malfunctioning. It is running exactly the same pre-dawn program every human body has been running for hundreds of thousands of years. The issue is not the program. The issue is that a stress system built for the occasional emergency is running low-grade all day, every day, in a world that never lets it clock out. So the moment the shift change begins, it does not shift gently. It jolts. That is not a defect. That is a well-designed system doing its job in an environment it was not designed for. If you noticed anything land in your body while I was talking, a tight place in your chest loosening, your shoulders dropping, a slow breath happening on its own, tell me in the comments which one moved. It helps me know what to make next. If this was useful, a like helps the algorithm show it to someone else, who is lying awake right now searching for a real explanation. Next video, I want to walk through what actually happens in the body during a panic attack and why the standard breathing advice can sometimes make it worse. Subscribe so it lands in your feed. Thanks for watching.